Hey, good morning, America, evening, Asia. Hello, well, welcome to the program. Well, once again, we're going to begin with the virus that's got the whole world on edge and is certainly having a ripple effect around the global economy, because earlier today, South Korea's Hyundai, it became the first global automaker to suspend production at its factories outside of China, not even in China. It signals certainly the start of a massive disruption to the global supply chains. Hyundai, of course, it is hugely reliant on China for parts, and with the majority of those parts actually being made in China, and it doesn't keep a large inventory outside of the country. Commodity markets, think things of oil, metals, etc., they are also under huge pressure, and it's because China's consumption of things like oil and copper have fallen, and that certainly pushes the price down. That's gone. Let's get more. Cornelia Meyer, she is the big boss of MRL Corporation, which is a business consultancy, and you're a familiar face. It's lovely to see you, Cornelia. This is big stuff here. Over the last week, I was talking to experts like yourself, talking about the worries of the global supply chain. China is at the heart of that, right? This is the first example where we're seeing that if China's factories aren't making stuff, then you, on the other side, can't make your stuff.
Well, and it's probably going to get worse, because if you look at it, Apple, as you had in your teaser, the supply chain in China is very important to Apple. A lot of the iPhones are getting assembled in China. So that's a big thing. And then look at the city of Wuhan, which is at the center of this, where nothing works. 300 of the world's top 500 companies are represented there. So this means... Plus, it's also the workforce. You know, for Chinese Lunar New Year, everybody goes. It's like Thanksgiving in the U.S.
Yeah, or Christmas.
Exactly. Everybody goes and sees their families. So just before the outbreak, everybody went and saw their families, and now they can't go back or don't want to go back.
Or they're quarantined, or they're being told by the authorities to quarantine themselves for 14 days.
Or they don't want to go into a quarantined city. So this has real implications. Aviation. Today, Cathay Pacific has just suspended 90% of their flights to China. So other airlines too. And you know, if you're an airline, you need kerosene. If you don't fly, you don't need kerosene.
No, that's right. I mean, and there's no, basically, let's be frank, there's no bums on seats going in or out of China at the moment. Does this highlight that there might be a problem with the global supply chain, in the sense that all of us, if you will, have put our eggs into one basket?
Absolutely. I mean, we are so much more interconnected. If you compare that to when the SARS virus broke out, the Chinese economy is about 8 times bigger than it was than it was in 2002, 2003. It's $2.5 trillion in 2018, just worth of exports. So yes, it's so interconnected. But it's the world. It's not just China. The world. It's just globally. We've become so interconnected that if one thing goes down, another thing will go down too.
Absolutely. As you say, we are likely to see more companies from different industries being impacted, like Hyundai. Let me ask you about oil. I know it's a little specialty of yours. But when you've got the world's second largest economy, a major oil importer, using something like 20% less of the stuff at the moment because of what's going on, that is going to have a ripple effect around the world, and we've seen it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And if you look at it at the beginning of the year, oil was at about 60. Brent was about at $68, you know, very high. It's now at about $56 and some change. You know, it's really come down. And yes, the Chinese use less oil. People expect that refinery runs are in China are about 10% or 40% less. I think it's more like 20 to 30% less.
But I've got to wrap it up very quickly. OPEC, the oil cartel, very briefly, a meeting said they may cut production, so produce less of the stuff, which hopefully will bring the price back for them.
Yes, but right now they're having a technical meeting with the Chinese ambassador to Vienna, by the way. But they will need to congregate a full ministerial meeting to be able to do that. And last night, Russia's President Putin spoke to Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, so we can expect a meeting pretty shortly.
Cornelia, always a pleasure. It's been too long. We'll get you back on very soon. Thank you very much. Cornelia Meyer joining us there. Hey, let's talk.